I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge.
I only have one problem. Charlie wanted to date her. Long story short, I was very worried.
Wait, this is where things start to feel strange. A whistleblower steps forward, accusing Erica Kirk and Tyler Bauer allegedly misleading supporters. And then suddenly that same person disappears. The timing didn't go unnoticed, and it raised serious questions fast. This wasn't just random noise online either. The claims focused on donations, where the money was supposed to go versus where it may have actually ended up. According to the allegations, supporters believed they were backing real grassroots efforts, but some now question if those funds were redirected in ways they never agreed to.
I can't even begin to describe it because the people that I felt like I was working for were not. They were.
But this is where things change. Tyler Bauer isn't just a background name. He's closely tied to Erica, who is being positioned as Charlie's replacement just weeks after his passing. That alone made the situation feel off to many watching closely. The shift happened quickly, and not everyone was comfortable with how fast things moved. And this is where it gets more complicated. According to insider discussion, Charlie had already grown suspicious of both of them before he passed. There are claims he even pushed for a full financial audit of Turning Point USA shortly before everything started to unravel.
I got a call from Miss Erica Kirk, Miss Arizona 2012. I just want to help, she said. So naturally, I put her right behind the president at the...
I'd met through a family friend. He had invited me to the office opening.
That detail keeps coming up, and it adds another layer to the mystery. So people keep asking, if someone claimed to have proof, why did they suddenly vanish? That's when everything started to shift again. A lot of attention spiked after the Turning Point Action office opened in Las Vegas. What was expected to be a standard political event started to feel very different. Instead of a typical setup, it looked more like a celebrity-style meet and greet. Erica was seen signing autographs and posing for photos. And for some, that moment raised eyebrows about the direction things were heading.
Never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. Well, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being...
It almost felt like a public figure running a fan meetup, and even that alone had people confused. But the moment that really stopped everything, Erica and Tyler were spotted hugging right out in the open. The clip spread fast, and once it hit social media, the reaction was immediate and intense. That's when everything started to shift. The comments came in sharp, with many calling the moment inappropriate, while others went even further with harsh labels. The tone online flipped almost overnight.
Thinking it's a business interview.
It started that way.
Right. So we sit down, and you grill me for, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Easily. And he just sat there, and he looked at me. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to hire you. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need this job. I'm doing plenty of other things here in Manhattan. He's like,
We're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the...
Suddenly, it wasn't just about appearances anymore. It became about what that moment could mean. And that curiosity pushed people to start looking deeper into their past. And this is where it gets more complicated. For a lot of viewers, it didn't come across as a random, friendly interaction. Instead, it felt like confirmation of something people had already been quietly questioning. Once that idea took hold, more connections started to surface. And not in the obvious way. People began pointing out a pattern. Anytime one of them faced questions, the other seemed to step in almost instantly, redirecting attention, smoothing things over, keeping everything under control.
What I did for Turning Point USA within that department was some of the most... I can't even begin to describe it because the people that I felt like I was working for were not... They were horrible. I mean, like, it was just some of the worst times.
And this wasn't new behavior either. According to ongoing discussion, this dynamic had been noticeable for a long time, even before Charlie was ever part of the picture. This is where the timeline starts raising real questions. Tyler claimed that back in 2015, Erica reached out to him to get connected with inauguration circles. If that's accurate, it suggests their connection was already solid, strong enough for her to rely on when it mattered. But then, the story starts to shift. Because later, Erica shared a completely different version. She described Tyler as just a family friend who casually invited her to a Turning Point office opening, like it wasn't a big deal at all. But that explanation doesn't line up cleanly with what was said before, and it doesn't stop there, and this is where it gets more complicated. In another account, Erica said she first met Charlie while visiting Israel with her mother. Then in yet another version, she claimed their meeting happened when what was supposed to be a job interview unexpectedly turned into a date. Now there are 3 different origin stories floating around for the same situation, and people are left trying to figure out why the details keep changing. That's when everything started to shift again. One version of the story, the one Charlie reportedly supported, adds even more intrigue. According to that account, Tyler admitted he personally drove Charlie to his first date with Erica. That detail alone caught attention fast, because it suggests a much closer level of involvement. But here's the part that really stood out. Tyler also said he coached Charlie beforehand, how to approach her, what she might like, even how to talk to her. And for many watching, that didn't come across as casual advice. It made it seem like Tyler already understood Erica on a deeper level, far beyond what you'd expect from just a mutual connection. It started to look less like coincidence and more like coordination. The way everything lined up made some people question if Tyler wasn't just introducing Erica into Charlie's world, but carefully placing her there. Not random, not accidental, something more intentional. And that's when the speculation took a sharper turn. But this is where things change. After Charlie passed, the situation escalated quickly. According to reports, Erica was already holding meetings with Turning Point USA staff just days later. That speed alone caught attention, and not in a quiet way. And this is where it gets more complicated. People began noticing the tone in those meetings. Erica was allegedly discussing long-term strategy, referring to the organization like it was already her team, and even highlighting how merchandise sales increased during Charlie's memorial period. That detail, in particular, didn't sit right with some observers. It sounded more like business focus than reflection, and it added to the growing tension. That's when everything started to shift again. Within that same week, Erica reportedly stepped into the CEO role, while Tyler remained active behind the scenes. Suddenly, they appeared closely aligned at the top. Tyler acting as a key support figure, helping guide internal decisions. And inside the organization, according to ongoing discussion, concerns started getting louder. Then another layer surfaced. According to the whistleblower claims, this is when talk of a missing $10 million began circulating. The allegation wasn't about a single dramatic event. It was described as something much quieter. Piece by piece, funds were reportedly moved under broad categories like administrative expenses and tour-related budgets. No sudden spike, no obvious red flag. Just a slow, subtle pattern that would be easy to miss at first. And that's the detail that really stuck with people. The theory, based on public discussion, is that these funds may have ultimately come from supporter contributions, raising even more questions about where everything was actually going. And here's what made everything feel even more tense. The moment questions started coming up about those expenses, Erica and Tyler reportedly became defensive. According to some former staff, that shift in tone pushed people to step away. They felt the organization was drifting from what it originally claimed to represent, and that change didn't go unnoticed. They didn't always call anyone out directly, but the timing of those departures raised eyebrows. Each exit seemed to add another layer of doubt, especially as conversations around transparency kept growing. And that's why, when the whistleblower chose to go public, the situation reportedly escalated fast. That's when everything started to shift again. As talk about missing funds began spreading, the reaction online picked up quickly. People started connecting it to past concerns, pointing out that this wasn't the first. Turning Point USA had faced questions about handling supporter-related money. One example kept resurfacing again and again. And this is where it gets more complicated. Attention turned back to the merchandise rollout right after Charlie's passing. At the time, it was presented as a way for supporters to stay connected and honor his memory in a meaningful physical way. The launch looked massive, with items reportedly selling out almost instantly. But the story didn't end there. As weeks went by, the tone online began to change. Some supporters claimed their orders never arrived. Others said they waited months, sometimes over 5, before receiving anything at all. And even when packages finally showed up, the complaints didn't stop, adding even more pressure to an already growing controversy. Complaints kept stacking up. Some supporters said the quality didn't match what was promised. Others reported receiving the wrong items or missing pieces entirely, and a few even claimed they spent hundreds of dollars and got nothing at all. That alone raised concerns. But what really pushed frustration higher was the reported experience with customer support. According to posts, many people said their emails were ignored, while others described getting generic, automated replies that didn't address their questions. That's when everything started to shift. What began as disappointment started turning into action, with some supporters reportedly reaching out to their credit card companies and payment services to dispute the charges just to recover their money. One Facebook post that began circulating captured the situation perfectly. The user claimed they had been waiting over 12 weeks, couldn't find any clear refund option, and kept receiving the same repeated responses, even after providing their order details multiple times. They ended the post by accusing the organization of benefiting during a difficult moment while making it clear they weren't looking for conflict. They just wanted a refund. And that post didn't stay quiet for long. The comments quickly filled with others saying, "Same thing happened to me," each adding their own experience. That's when the online narrative shifted again. Now, some of the very people who once supported Erica were starting to question things. Doubt began creeping in, and right as that uncertainty started building, the conversation took yet another turn, with new rumors beginning to surface about Erica and Tyler. Now the conversation takes another turn. There are growing claims that Erica and Tyler might be planning something even bigger. According to ongoing discussion, Tyler has allegedly told people about private conversations where Charlie wanted Erica to step into politics, possibly even aiming for something as big as the presidency one day. But here's the issue. There's no public record of that. No speeches, no clips, no posts, and no one else has confirmed those conversations, which has made the claim feel uncertain to many watching closely. And this is where it gets more complicated. Charlie had a very clear public image when it came to his personal values. He often spoke about wanting a traditional, faith-centered family life. So now some observers are confused by how different things seem to look today. According to public commentary, there are claims that Erica has been guiding Turning Point in a direction that doesn't fully match what Charlie was known for. That's when everything started to shift again. Conversations about an internal audit seemed to fade, while appearances started feeling more high-profile and celebrity-like. There have also been mentions, though not confirmed, of larger financial moves, including real estate. And according to claims made by Candace, Erica has been presenting herself as a voice for Charlie's legacy, even in moments where his perspective can't be directly confirmed. But the story doesn't stop there! Reports suggest that multiple insiders who have known Erica for years may be preparing to speak out. One name that keeps coming up is Tracy Martin, described as a close friend for over a decade. That alone has added even more curiosity about what could come next. And now the speculation reaches another level. Some theories, based entirely on online discussion, suggest Erica may have played a much larger role in Charlie's life than people realized. Others strongly disagree, pointing out that none of this has been proven. Still, the questions keep building, especially around whether Charlie had started to lose trust in people around him before everything changed. So now it comes down to perspective. What do you think is really going on here? Share your thoughts below, and if you want to see how deep this story goes, check out the next video, because the conversation is far from over.